Yo, 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 what is up, guys? What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Magnum Minds podcast. It's your boy from the villain. To my right this time, we got the homie Toast. What's up, like?
Everyone's me, Lack. So grateful to be here, and thank you for everyone that's been showing love. Thank you for watching today. Like we always say, you signed the lease to be here.
Sign
You're
the
locked
lease,
in.
so you're
You
staying.
know, but there's no end clause to this lease, so you're locked in for life. Yeah. So
Exactly. And
you're
another,
listening. Yeah,
yeah,
your friend, your family, and But I'm even more grateful for the guests we have today, and
yes,
the boy
sir.
Fawn's gonna give a little intro to the
Nah,
to the man.
for sure, for sure. Of course, the van. Like we said, you guys are locked in. You signed the lease, and somebody else will try and get to sign the lease today. The one, the only, my man's OKC. Some people say mayor of OKC. Some people say MC of OKC. But I will tell you right now, this man has lived and traveled around the world, so it's not even just limited to the States. All in black today with the shades on. Welcome to the podcast, Hammy Gabanny. What's up, brother? How's it going, man? How's it going?
What an intro!
For the man only. Nah, that's the boy. That's the boy. Nah, this is the guy. We've actually known each other for a few years now. It's crazy, man. And off of just first interaction, I mean, you can already tell by the personality. You guys you can already tell off of the first interaction. As I know, first of all, yeah, fear this man. Secondly, this guy's a cool dude. So if you want to just give people a little bit of history, like let them know who is Hammy. Like who is Hammy? What would you say?
First and foremost, I'm gonna say I really appreciate the honor to be on this platform.
Yes,
It's
sir.
it's really honoring to be here, and I just signed the lease. So if you haven't signed it, you want to sign because hey, there's no going back. Hey,
Yo,
I
I'm
have to keep
saying
the penguin right here. We
exactly.
all
Thank
have
you to
one, but
everybody.
I go by Hammy Gabanny.
Mm-hmm.
But my real names or my government names are Hamlet Kamabi. Um, Cameroonian. I was born in Cameroon. Grew up in Cameroon,
Mm-hmm.
and I had a chance to be a little bit, in a few places around. And I'm blessed to be in the United States. I'm blessed to be on this
Fair.
platform. I'm blessed to be where I am today in life. I am an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I would say more of dealing with events and concerts, promotion,
Okay.
nightlife. And on the other side, aside nightlife, I would say I'm more into consulting. And I am a car fan addict. Please don't get me. Don't
Hey,
come
my
right next to me.
guy. Now you know why
Talk
we
to me
click.
about any car. I'll tell you everything about
Yes,
that vehicle.
sir.
That's a little bit about me. And
Good.
yeah, I really feel honored being here today.
Nah, man, for
We're lucky to
sure.
have you, man, for sure, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
We love the big personality. We love the energy you always bring. So, for sure, man.
Yeah,
Thank
no,
you, thank you.
definitely. Yeah, appreciate it. Appreciate it. It's an honor to have you, as he said. And we're just gonna dive into a few of those things. You know what I mean? As we always tell everybody, we're chilling. This is our space where we just hang out. We're trying to just get our people on, let
Yeah,
everybody shine their individuality, which is
right.
just kind of what we've been
It's a
promoting.
safe space,
It's a
right?
safe space, man.
I
It's
love
very
that.
safe until
Yeah,
the
yeah,
internet
yeah.
gets a hold of
Yeah,
whatever you want to
Yeah,
say.
yeah.
Then you're on your own.
Safe
But
space for the real ones. You get
yeah,
on here, you're fake, you're gonna get exposed. So,
yeah, we're not gonna cut you any slack.
yeah.
Mhm.
But no, it's great to have you. Just going back real quick, you were saying, as you mentioned before, you've lived in a few places. So born in Cameroon, Cameroonian, but where all have you been? Because as we did our own little digging, you know, what I mean, saw that you were somewhere in Sweden, California a little bit. What tell us about these travels, man?
So I did like a majority part of my education in Cameroon,
Mm-hmm.
and when it was time for me to get to college, as the United States call it, but back home we call it university.
Mm-hmm.
I did a
Uni.
certain level of it, back home, and then I moved around the world to Sweden. I had an opportunity to actually be over there for a very short time for studies. And then I had a chance to move around, like I was in Nigeria,
Oh,
Kenya,
wow.
in Ghana, precisely in Kumasi.
Mm.
So with all of these other places in Africa, it was more based with work. And when I say work, events management, um, it's all about the party. And when I say the party, it's not like I was going to the party, but I
Fair.
was going there to work and actually get the work done, and which was all involved with events and nightlife or entertainment. Let me put it that way,
Entertainment, yeah,
entertainment.
entertainment
Because
industries
from
usually.
back home, I did a little bit of movies. I
Okay.
had a chance to shoot a couple of movies back home, In 2011, my very first movie I did was University Girls. I mean, if you want to
University
go
Wow.
check it
Girls. That
out
does
right
not
there.
sound
If
like.
you want to
Yeah.
go check it out, and then I did
Okay.
some other ones. I did The Syndicate. I did Viri.
Okay.
And then at the time back home, I was the best dancer in the Southwest Province or Southwest region,
Wow.
and it got me to a lot of exposure. Where that's where I started actually realizing that other than dancing, I was good at actually being able to be on the microphone. It was just a natural talent. One day my friend called me and she's like, "Hey man, we have this event. We don't have anybody to be
Like
the
the
MC
MC.
of it. Can you help?" And I'm like, "Okay, sure." And that's how it all started. I got on that stage. It was actually a dance competition.
Oh, really?
Perfect.
Yeah,
I
because I
know,
mean, I
right?
used to dance,
Yeah.
and being a vet dancer at the time, they were like, "Man, I know you dance, and you have back in school." Because when I was in the secondary school, I was the president of the journalism and mass communication group or team. So I had this thing built in me because again, I always read the news, informed the
Fair,
students of what's
okay.
going on. But when I went to university, I didn't really think, that it was my deal because when I applied to study that, as a major, I was declined.
Oh, really? They
What?
said
I
no?
was declined. They said no,
Wow.
but again, they say if you're a belt or if you're wired with something or a talent, it can never go away from you.
Yeah.
And that's how it all started. I picked up from there, and then I did the Nescafe Music Revelation in 2013. Actually released a group called That Trill, which
The
today
Trill.
it has the top musical, guy icons back in Cameroon, precisely Salatiel,
Hey.
Mr.
Okay.
Leo as well.
Mr.
We
Leo.
dance the same dance group.
Yeah.
This is some names which in the industry, when you call that in Cameroon, they're like, what was going on? I had an opportunity to work with Mr. Cameroon United Nations back then in 2012.
Oh, wow.
And I was invited at the Catholic University to be one of the jurors for crowning Miss Catholic University. And then I
Oh,
also
wow.
had the opportunity to, dance for, like I said, I was a dancer.
So
So
you
I
perform for
danced
higher
Flame
ups.
Star, danced Intervention Rapide, which means emergency. That's translation.
Intervention.
And then dance with Backspace. So all of these little things enabled me realize that I had something involved with the entertainment
Yeah.
industry, and that was what prompted me going around the world because, like when I went to Nigeria, I was there for a period of 18 months. It was all about entertainment, working with top
Sheesh.
major artists
Right.
like P Square,
Wow.
Mr. Maydi.
Yeah.
That was all how it started, with MTN. MTN is a music, sorry, is a telecommunication network back in
In
Cameroon.
Cameroon, yeah.
So I had opportunity to be with them at the time, and every time that it involved entertainment, hosting concerts, or being involved in the team production team, that's how I was being swung along from
Oh, okay.
XYs from one country to another, and it just kept going on and on. And at some point, I was like, you know what? I think maybe it's time for me. Well, before I thought about it, in 2015 December, I had a childhood friend who had been in the United States for over 15 years.
Okay.
And when he came back home for the first time, I was actually involved with the organization team for this major concert we had back home of this Ugandan artist by name Eddie Kenzo. So I told him, hey man, I'm involved with this event. If you guys want to come show some love. So they
Yeah.
bought VIP tickets. And the VIP
Hey.
tickets they bought initially would not get them to the level of being right next to the artist, or maybe like taking a photo or really being close to them. But when they bought those tickets at the location, I actually got them backstage.
Oh,
And
yeah?
my friend was like, man,
Yo, where are you pulling these
what are
strings
you
from?
doing? It's like, and his exact words were, man, if you are in the United States, you're gonna make a lot of money. It's like, I don't know what you're doing, but what I see you doing, man, you got something going on. And I think it was like an eye opener for me. Because at the time I'd gone back to Cameroon, because Nigeria was in 2014, Kenya, and then Ghana. All of those was between 2014 and 2015.
Okay.
But that December was, I think, the moment where I was like, you know what?
gotta-
My friend said this. I need to, take a step back, rethink and re-strategize and see if maybe it's time for me to literally, give it a shot. And boom, the rest is history.
Wow.
Wow,
And then
wow.
now you're here moving around, making big moves, eh?
Yeah.
I can't say so. I'm just blessed. I'm grateful.
Yeah, yeah. I appreciate the whole breakdown of the
Yeah.
timeline and everything, from the motivation, like the vision that you've had. I think it's cool that you not only recognize your talent early on, but nurtured it in the way that got you where you are today. So
Yeah.
it's big, man.
No, that's definitely smooth. And then another thing I wanted to add was you mentioned like you're a big entrepreneur and you're also a big car fanatic. So moving here, was there just to sort of prelude to what's to come? You get into some of like the car industry itself as far as like business and all those things. So how did you have that switch and transition from like a lot of the what it sounds like
Entertainment.
you saying like entertainment on the forefront,
Yeah.
then being like an entrepreneur and getting that experience as well?
So I would say when I came to the United States, I remember my uncle when I called him. I told him like, here. He said, "Welcome to the jungle." And
Fair.
it was funny at the time, but when I sat back to rethink or analyze those words in the way they were, I realized that it's a place or a world full of a lot of opportunities, but you have to be very cautious on how you dive into it because there are sharks everywhere, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
The sharks might not be direct or indirect. You might be driving maybe in your car, you don't know that having a bottle of alcohol open is
yeah.
actually an offense,
Yeah.
because I mean nobody's going to tell you that until you get pulled over. That's a shock,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You might be parked on the wrong side of the road or on a space that it doesn't tell you it's a non-parkable space, and then it's a shock, and then you get an
ticket and everything.
I mean, and then it gets into your record, and that's it for life until you die. So that's why I said it's the jungle. So you have to be very meticulous about how you go about looking at how you want to dive into whatever business. So coming to your question, my goal when I was coming to the United States was I realized I love cars a lot, even from back home. Because from back home, I used to work with this rental car company called Marco, where I had to go to different companies as well to prospect and tell them, hey man, you guys come rent our cars, we're gonna get you a deal. So when I got here, I was thinking, I was like, hey, how can I be able to impact the world? Like have something that I could come up with that's going to make us really attached to our vehicles, because I realized that at the time they used to call it the Android generation. Everybody wanted to be on the phone. You wake up in the morning, the first thing you want to do is, oh, what's my phone?
Yeah,
you don't even think about praying or thanking God or meditating for, hey man, I woke up today, feels good, God thank you, or you're thankful for that day. The first thing you're trying to do is, where's my phone? Who sent me a text? Who called me? So I'm like, I would love to actually create an app where it's going to make us really close to our vehicles, whereby once maybe your light or there's about to be a defunct on the car, it sends you a notification. For example, if you're about to have less air pressure on your tire, it sends you a message and tell you, hey man, your car is about to have maybe less air in it. Find the closest air place and put some air in it, or where it's gonna be. Let's say for example, your next oil change. Like if your headlight is about to go out, or your windshield wipers it's not working, or your back brake light's not working. So that was the idea behind it. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna resolve to actually do software engineering.
Okay.
And with that, I will be able to understand a lot more about computers and come up with an app. Because I had no idea, I had nothing with the tech background. Because back home, I did social and anthropology.
Oh yeah,
And
anthropology.
then from there, I moved to human
Fair.
resource, and that's how I moved from human resource to project management. That got me to Sweden or whatnot. So having that idea, I came here, and boom, I realized those apps already existed.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
these people
what
moving quick.
can I do? So I was frustrated about that. I'm like, well, you know what? How can I do something else to add already to that is already in existence? And I looked at the whole thing, and I'm like, man, you know what? The only way for me to know more about these vehicles is for me to dive deep into it and be part of it, understanding the mechanisms, how they are built, the technologies behind them, the safety aspects, the pros and cons of what makes them different from each and every one of them. And being a person of a lot of style, or I always set the bar really high.
My guy, yeah.
I was like, you know what? I'm not going, domestic. I'm not gonna do domestic. My very first car was not even domestic, and I wanted domestic car, matter of fact.
Oh really?
But
Which car?
I wanted a
Dodge
Charger?
Charger?
Avenger.
Oh, you wanted an
I
Avenger?
went to
Okay,
dealership, and I look around. I'm like, the guy's like, hey, we don't have any. And I turned around and I see this nice looking car. It wasn't, because my perception was I didn't want a car that had a lot of, it's gonna make a lot of noise and less noise. Like maybe, oh, that's a Toyota, or that's maybe a Nissan. I wanted a car which wherever I find myself, it's just a nice looking car, like a Volvo, for example.
Yeah,
And then
Volvo's nice.
I looked at this car. I was like, oh, this one looks really nice. I'm like, what is this? And he's like, well, that's a Volkswagen. I'm like,
hey, Volkswagen.
I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, and boom, I got in it. And when I got in it, it was a great experience. I enjoyed it, and then that's how I dived more into German.
Right.
And I moved from the Volkswagen, and then I remember I bought a Mercedes that had 200, and I bought it cash. It had 225,000 miles.
220
For a Mercedes.
Yes. So
It might as well have been 1 million miles, bro.
I had my
Jeez.
Volkswagen, but I was like, man, I see people talking about Mercedes. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
So I bought this Mercedes, bro. That thing drives so smooth.
Really?
It was a 2011, bro. It had 200.
Where they driving to though? That's
And I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
what? But guess what? The AC was out of it, and I bought it in the summer. So guess what? I was cooking.
nah, that's actually wild.
Wow.
Man always had the windows down.
Always.
Always had the windows down.
Always. So I'm like, man, this German cars drive smooth. And then one of my friends actually some days like, hey man, can you help me drive this car from his house to this point? And that was an Audi A4.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I was like, okay.
Got an Audi,
Yeah.
And then he had a Maserati,
Yeah.
Ghibli.
Oh, give
And
me
then I got in there, I'm like, this thing is a hell of a beast. I'm like, you know what? I'm done. I don't want no, this one.
no more domestic stuff.
And then I got into it. I had the opportunity to work with Audi of America. Then I understood, the pros and cons, but my mind was still on the Mercedes. I'm like, man, I think, that's what I wanna
that's
go.
what you want to do.
That's what I wanna go.
Yeah.
And I got into it. I was like, what the hell? God save my soul. And I understood why there is always this notion. I would permit me to say perception, because again, perception is reality.
Yeah.
People will be like, oh, it's a Mercedes, it's a Star, it's a Mercedes. And I mean, there are other makes that have similar or even better,
Like
with respect to
drivetrain, handling, whatever.
all that stuff. But there is always this, like, I've always wanted a Mercedes, I've always
Yeah.
wanted a Star, So I understood that, and then when I dive deep again to look at maybe like the Porsches, the Bentleys, the Rolls Royce, I'm like, and then I was like, you know what? Pause. So I have a mentor in Dallas, and he had a Bentley Continental at the time. So every time I went to visit him, he's like, man, you want to drive? Like, no. The first day I drove that thing, I was like, now I know.
Yeah.
It made me dive now deep in it. And I was like, you know what? At this point in time, having to deal with the entrepreneurial side of it and consulting, I would rather just maybe want to deal with, getting the vehicles and, consulting people about what is best for them as spare, what they are or where they are in life. Because a lot of people like some things or want some things, but they don't know how to mitigate. We say cut your coat according to your shoulder, or like actually base your level. So
fits you.
that's why I come in at the level of entrepreneurial. I consult. I tell them, hey man, okay, well, did you just graduate from school? Yes. Okay. Do you have a job? Okay. Yeah. What do you think, with this job currently, where are you going to be in the next 2 years? And I'm able to educate them on how it makes sense financially, on what car is most effective and convenient for that certain level. And after maybe the next 2 or 3 years, how they can maybe top up
start going
or
up
grow
and-
up with it. And I mean, that's the entrepreneurial side of it. Another part of the entrepreneurial side of it with respect to cars, again, is when people come to me and be like, hey man, I want this. I mean, I'll sell them the car. I'll sell them the car. If you want it, I'll give it to you. I just make sure, hey, we gotta, dot the I's and cut the T's, and we'll make it work. And then boom, 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 we get it going.
Yeah.
Nah, I like
Sorry,
that,
I talked
man.
a lot on that.
No, bro. This
we sense the passion. So I mean, it's cool to see that you're in the business. Not only that you're in the business, but you're passionate about the business. And I think that we need more entrepreneurs that are like actually not just in it for the money, but in it for because they love it. That's just it.
because that's the thing. It's like, how many people do you meet that actually like, yo, I like it, but let me understand it to the T. Like, let me go here. Like, okay, the German engineering works like this. Like, I'm gonna actually go and understand it before actually just pushing it out. But you're talking about like getting everybody at the right level, and like as far as like coming out, finding the right car, things like that. Because we are also trying to, I guess, reach an audience, not guess, but since we are trying to reach an audience that's like coming out of uni and like all those kinds of things, what would you say right now as far as buying with how the like economic market is in America right now, to buy a car or not to buy a car right now coming out of university for people that should know?
So
like lease, buy, give us your insight.
So if you're coming out of university, the first thing I would say is secure a job. Do not pride yourself about wanting to get a luxury car, because anybody can have a luxury car, but it's the cost of maintaining the car. If you want a Mercedes, you get a Mercedes for 25,000, 30,000, and you know, and keep moving up. If you want a Maserati, you can get it, you know, mid-20s, an Alfa Romeo, a Range Rover, a Porsche, you know, but it's the cost of maintenance. And that said, I always tell people there's nothing wrong with starting with a Honda, because you got to start from somewhere.
Good old
There's nothing
Civic.
wrong starting with a Nissan. This always, you know, because then again, it just matches your current status of living. You can be a student who you're making maybe 1,200, you know, monthly, or maybe let's say if we got to push $2,000 every month, including your rent and all. Well, your bills are $2,000, and you want to ride a Mercedes. I'm sorry, that's the wrong fit. It is the wrong fit. As students, the first thing I would say is, while you're in school, you want to save some money. You know, you want to make sure you save a good amount of money. A good graduation gift to yourself could be a car of your dream. But you want to make sure that before you buy that car of your dream, you secure a job that will be able to maintain that same lifestyle in the next 2-3 years. Matter of fact, 3 years.
Fair.
Do some research before you want to buy those cars, or before you want to go to any dealership. And there's nothing wrong starting from somewhere. Your friends might be like, hey man, what kind of car is that?
The new Beamer.
Believe it or not, it's the cost of owning that car. So start with something small when you get out of college. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with you buying a car, which is maybe, when you get out of college, maybe if it went 2014, maybe like a 2020 or even a 2018, which has like a 60,000 miles. Hondas are good. Those are really good cars. Nissans are also very good. So the Toyotas too, or the Lexus, they're also really good. Matter of fact, Lexus is the luxury of Toyota. So when it comes to service, it's the same thing. So it's not gonna be anywhere ambiguous, because it's literally a Toyota but with a different kind of
presentation and all that good stuff.
So start from somewhere, get a car. It might be, I would say, 5 years older than the present time. You want to get a car at least 50,000 miles at least. You know, if you cannot afford, you know, getting a new one. But if you could afford getting a new one, because right now there are opportunities for you to have a brand new car at, you know, in the mid-20s. And that's a way for you to establish credit, because again, getting out of college, a lot of people don't know about credit. You know, no credit is as good as bad credit. So you got to start from somewhere. And if you finance, let's say, we're in 2024, you finance maybe a 2020 car, you know, which maybe has 50,000 miles, and maybe it's in the mid-20s. It's as good as right now. There's this new Buick in Vista.
Oh, I saw the Buick. That Buick is nice.
I almost bought that car.
That Buick is nice.
And I saw, but then I saw like,
Wait, what'd you see?
But then I saw like some videos of people saying like, oh, the screen would just like not turn on by itself.
Oh, the screen just goes dead.
Yeah, it just goes dead.
It's the first year.
It's the first gen.
There's always gonna be stuff about it.
That's true.
That's tragic.
I would hate to be on a road trip. Your car, then you just like the screen just dies, and now you're just singing a cappella like the whole way.
That car, the first time I saw it, I was like,
I was like, that's a
Buick. Like a Lambo truck.
You know,
it looks like a sedan and like an SUV, but I'm like, whoa. Now, I went to dealership. I got into it, and guess what? You can have that car for the mid-20s.
Yeah,
fair.
A fully loaded that car right now is about $29,000.
Yeah, that's
so
crazy.
You think about it, that is
crazy.
really good. If you're coming out of college, you know, that's a good car to start with. It's not you know, too much of a car, but it has the greatest technology right now in that car. If you want to have your Apple CarPlay, just plug in your phone. It doesn't come with navigation unless they've updated it.
Yeah.
As of the last time I checked.
Right.
You put it in, boom.
Okay.
You're having the best sound system. You're enjoying the car. It is super cool. You know, it's
Yeah.
different.
It's modern,
unique.
yeah.
Yeah, it's modern. Look at the Volkswagens. You know, they're always right there around the mid-20s. You know, and then if you want to go to Nissans, you know, you find them right in the mid-20s or you know early 30s. Start from somewhere. You just can't move from 0 to a $50,000 car, bro. If you're ready to pay $1,000 or $2,000 as a car note, good luck to you.
Real quick with the cars too. I wanted to say, what do you say about Genesis? Because my man's Genesis was in the shop for like back
Believe it or
to
not,
back.
I love the Genesis,
That
though.
Genesis was in the shop
Like,
back
so
to
long.
back.
The first
That was a
time I
while
saw
ago, but yeah.
that car, the first thing that came to my mind was the Bentley.
Yeah.
Those wings.
Like the extreme, like,
Cause you know, like the designer, like they hired the designer
did
is
hire
a
from-
Bentley designer.
no wonder.
I think
Yeah.
I think I saw that somewhere. Yeah.
I'm like,
From the logo to like the shape of the car, like the headlights and everything. I was like, damn, looks like a little baby Bentley.
I'll tell you, that car, I missed buying that car though. I
Yeah.
almost bought it.
Yeah, really.
I did. And I went to the dealership, I look at it, I'm like, okay. Now, what got me really confused was, you know, you have the 2.0, the 3.0.
Yeah.
and I'm like, do I want to pay more for just a much bigger engine or do I want to? But it was good. And I'm big on aesthetics. The
Yeah,
exterior of the
that's
car,
me. Aesthetics. It has to
like,
be
it's-
appealing.
It
Yeah.
just hits
Yeah.
different. It's like
Right.
a beautiful plate of food with maybe your favorite chicken or your
Put small
favorite,
meat
you know,
on top. Just
right? Some little, you
small
know,
McGillities.
believe it or not, that's also a very good car to start with. It is. And if you could afford like the one, you know, the
Yeah.
ones in the 50s, go for it. Because Genesis, on the other hand as well, is a luxury of Hyundai.
Yeah. of Hyundai.
And when you think about, even when you look at Hyundais right now with their different models, those guys, they are coming.
Yeah, they're
big.
pushing
Like,
up.
like, do you know the Hyundais literally could drive themselves? Like,
Oh, they
you
got
could-
the
you-
driving
If
assist?
you're parked somewhere and you have a Hyundai, you could literally press from the key fob,
yeah.
the car unparks itself and come to you. Like when I saw that, I was marveled.
Yeah, that's
Because
cool.
when you think about that, okay, well, the other luxury guys, I haven't seen them do that yet, you know. But you're paying a premium for it. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
So thinking about that, you're getting all the glitz and glam for a much more affordable, you know,
Vehicle,
price.
yeah.
So,
I was gonna say like that. Even that feature alone, it comes on like even like even on like the lower end, like the Sonatas.
Honda Sonatas.
Yeah.
it
So
can
like
have
it's cool to see that Hyundai is actually trying to make strides to like bring more consumers and like put as much tech in their car as possible, just so that they can bring their value up. And I think it's good for consumers for sure.
it's a really good one.
Yeah. And I was gonna say like the Genesis, like if you're not just like getting every option or getting the highest trim, they're pretty affordable. Because I think that like the lowest trim for my car is it's I think it starts at like mid 30s, high or low 40s.
Yeah.
And I mean, if
Yeah,
you're just
for
going for the
Genesis?
look, I mean, you get that look.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
And
that's
the
solid.
car drives great. Yeah.
And the
it's
car
a
does
luxury
drive
car.
smooth.
It's a luxury
The
car.
launch control that day, bro. The launch control was also crazy. No. The car drives smooth.
When I look at the Volkswagen and the Volvo, I wouldn't even say that, you know, there's. It's not like I'm trying to sell Volkswagen or Volvo. I'm just saying based off my knowledge of cars. I believe that that's a good start, and those cars drive good. Cost of maintenance with the Volkswagen is super amazing, like a Toyota. So why not?
Yeah,
you know.
right.
Prior to me getting my current car, I went back to Volkswagen because again, when you think about it, I was like, man. And I felt so bad Volkswagen no longer makes the Passat because I had a Passat.
Oh, the Passat.
I moved from the Jetta and I got that my, you know, no AC seat.
Yeah, the 200,000.
And then you know, drove my friend's A4 for a minute and then, you know, went back to my Jetta. And guess what? Then boom, sold my Jetta. I was really emotionally attached to my car. So, you know, because when I was selling it, I was crying. I was crying. The guy who bought it was like, man, I told him, man, you don't know how much this
car
and
is.
just so you know, I bought that car, it had 116,000 miles on it.
His
Yeah.
man's was finding. Where were you finding
When I
these?
sold it, it had 186,000 miles on it in a period of 4 years.
Yeah.
So when you're thinking about it, and I still made back all the money, maybe
Right.
because the market was good
Oh,
for
wow.
it.
Yeah.
When I bought it, it was 7,500. And guess how much I sold it?
What'd you get it for?
Yes, come on.
In the 60s?
Yeah.
You're not giving me a number. Come on.
Like, I'll say
Was
six.
it, yeah, like six K.
Six.
Boom. $6,000.
Yeah.
And that was in 2021.
Yeah, you
Or the- like I said,
you
the
got
back
your
was
you got
good.
your money out of
You
it.
did
Yeah.
get your money.
I made back all my money out of it.
Yeah.
But the guy
700
who was
to
buying
6.
it, he was like, I said, bro, you don't know. Because
Yeah.
this car, I love it.
Yeah.
And I went to buy a Passat.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I bought the Passat. It was the no, it was in the late 20s.
Mm.
And it had about 13,000 miles. So thinking about that, it was a 2021.
Sheesh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2021. And would you think about a 2021 with 30,000 miles
Yeah.
in the meat? Bro, you get out of college, buy that car.
Yeah.
Like, take
Buy
it.
that car, take it.
That's a
It's-
gem.
It's,
That's a rare find.
It's gift. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then boom, when I had my accident, I was like, oh my God, I got in the wreck. I'm like, oh Lord. Now I felt what people who were trying to buy cars feel. Because I had to do my research. I had to check.
Start from
You have to do it
scratch.
quick too, because you don't have a car like in that moment.
Well,
Yeah.
the insurance gave me a car.
Yeah. Oh,
But
okay.
I
They had
was,
the
I
loaner.
was annoyed because the car they gave me,
Of course, they're not going to give you anything. Yeah, what do you mean?
they gave me some Toyota. I'm like,
No.
because it didn't ride that smooth the way I
Right.
was used to with my Volkswagen.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm like, I went to Genesis dealership, looked at the GV, I think GV70.
Jimmy 70.
I
Yeah.
looked at it, I was like,
GV70.
man, this thing is good.
Mhm.
I drove the GV, I'm like, oh, this is good. And then I'm like, okay. Then I pulled up that Buick Envista.
Mm.
I go to the dealership, I'm like, wow. Drove it, it was great. Now the only thing is I wanted the whole panoramic sunroof.
Yeah.
Like,
And they didn't have that because
fair.
it's the first one. Like the highest one just had the moonroof.
Right.
I'm like, okay. And guess what? It was still in the late 20s.
Right.
So I'm
Right.
like,
Dang.
I mean, if I get, Mercedes, I'm going to be
For that
spending
range,
twice
yeah,
as much
no
or even
shot.
3 times. Like, what is the need? And then I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to get me, I'm just going to go by what I feel. And boom, I looked at what options. It's like, you know what? I'm just going to go back to German.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because again, I could have been able to get a Porsche. I looked at one Porsche, 12018 Porsche. I'm like, man, this thing, how much a tire or Porsche costs. I'm like,
I heard though
Tire.
Porsche is like the best, like as far as like luxury car, it's like it's like the best daily driver, just because
drive-
like
the
the
drivetrain
maintenance
is
is like a
perfect,
little bit cost
supposedly.
lower than like other ones, and they're typically a little bit more reliable than.
well,
I don't know about
that's
the
what they
maintenance
say.
price.
Porsche is a driving experience. Porsche and
It's
BMW,
a drive. Yeah, this is driving
they
experience
call
for sure.
BMW the ultimate experience. But I'll tell you, when it comes to rigidity and how fast those things go,
Yeah.
bro. That's why when you get in the Porsche, you feel like the Porsche is a plane because just the cluster and the interior,
Yeah.
it's like a plane.
Yeah.
Right.
It is phenomenal.
Sensational.
It is phenomenal.
Right.
BMW does do a good job. They're really great at the aesthetics of their cars.
Yeah,
When you look at the
nice.
exterior of an X6, you're like,
Yeah,
like
drooling.
mouth watering, like,
Yeah.
oh man,
I hear that a lot. The ultimate driving experience, the ultimate driving machine or
Ultimate driving
something.
Because
machine,
that's
yeah.
that's
Okay,
what they
okay.
that's what they were pushing for, but especially back in the day when drift cars, I think outside of like JDM, so this is going like way back, outside of like when Mitsubishi and them used to be like really hot cars.
Oh, the Mitsubishi Lancer
Evo-
Evolutions,
the Evos,
the Evo 8s.
yeah, in those times, that's when I think BMW was, as far as like those Japanese cars, BMW was one of the like only foreign cars to be in Japan and like
Yeah.
compete with those cars at that
Yeah.
time too. So because they could handle well, they
Yeah.
could drift, they could do everything, and I was just like, huh,
It's crazy.
Okay.
Yeah, I've
Just
heard that a
adding to
lot.
I'm not a big fan of BMW, but there's one BMW. I think every time I see that car, I'm like, maybe this might be my next BMW.
M5,
No,
M3,
that's with
the
F4.
4 Series, the 4 Series.
M4.
Grand
the
Coupe.
4 Series. Oh, the
Oh,
4
the
Series.
4
Grand
Series.
Coupe.
Look at
Grand
the front of
Coupe.
that bumper. Of that
Yeah,
car.
yeah.
Just look at the front. It's amazing. Like
The giant.
the giant, green. I'm like, because again, it's just sleek. It's
Yeah.
Let me use the word sexy. It's
Yeah,
a sexy
yeah.
and amazing car. Like when
Yeah.
you look at you, like
Love sexy.
Can you
cars.
imagine being a deer on the road and and at night you see that grill coming at you? You're like, fuck.
I'm done.
I gotta get hit by a Civic. Probably I'm
I
getting
know,
hit by
right?
that shit. Nah, I'm not getting
Heavy,
up.
sturdy grill, just full force coming at you.
yeah.
No, but that's funny. But just to change the gears a little bit, going off of cars, because clearly we're car people. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's a very fun episode, and I'm enjoying it. But there's a little bit more I want to get out of you.
Okay.
Just want to get into some like more social life, more social personable things. You know, entertainment district man. How was it, or how has it been handling relationships and all those kinds of stuff? One, with the moving around that you've done. Two, with the type of work and business that you did, especially the entertainment business.
So believe it or not, it's tough when you know a lot of people.
Yes,
and
I can
you're always
imagine.
outside.
Always outside.
Yeah, you're always outside because
Yo, my girl heard that. My girl heard me say that. Yo, I'm getting in trouble.
it's the reality about it because you can be involved with entertainment and you're not out there because you have to be there for things to move.
Right.
It's a moving train. A single phone call is not going to make it work, or it's not going to have a lot of effect than when you are there. I'll give an example. If I have some friends that come from out of town, they're like, hey man, where can we go? And I'm like, well, go to, I'll just pick the name of a club, you know, Oklahoma. You go to 115, right?
Yeah.
I might tell them, hey, you know what, when you get to 115, I'll call the owner. They're going to get you a table. But when they go there, maybe because when they are in their own state, they give them top VIP reservation to keep the line.
Yeah.
They would expect that same kind of, you know, mindset that, you know, okay, well, Hammy actually called, you know, we're going to skip the line. And they get there and they don't skip the line. So guess what? I have to be there so they skip the line.
Yeah.
So it makes it really tough because I have to be there. So in that aspect, that phone call is not going to have a lot of effect than me being out there. That's why I say you got to be outside. Because if I'm there with them, the moment I pull up, I'm like, hey man, I call my friend like, hey, I'm outside. They send the security to come pick us up. They don't care whether there's a long line. They don't. Hey, it's VIP treatment. Is well,
That's what
I
you
mean,
got,
put it that way. And then boom, we're getting in. We're skipping the line. People are like, who are those? Sorry, we're just doing our thing. You know, we make it happen, and we get in. So being outside and dealing with relationships is really tough because again, your woman or whoever girl I'm involved with, it's one of those things that it's hard for them to get it because again, you might be very nice and very sociable, but you don't even see it coming when those people out there who you're helping maybe have a secondary agenda. Like, you know, you might have this female friend that she's always like, hey man, you know, I got you, or she's like, hey man, I'll cook for you, but in the back of her mind, she's like, if I could get this man down, boom, I'm getting him locked down, you know. And then even when you go out with your lady and, you know, females come to greet you, she's like, okay, the way she greeted you. You know, as men, we don't see how ladies see it or how they think it because women's intuition is really, really massive. And that's why sometimes I say men are slow. And men are slow because something could be right in front of us, but we don't see it because we are too blinded thinking, okay, well, I just want to help a friend. You know, I just want to make this work. But you might be wanting to make this work and somebody's actually admiring how much effort you're doing and they're craving to be your person. And so it gets really tough. And then now you come out with your own person and this person you're helping out hawks you some type of way and your lady's like, You're like, why you like,
hug was 3 seconds longer than
you know.
Yeah.
I remember there was a day I went out with my lady someday at a time. We were actually hanging out. It's one of my friends hooked a spot here in OKC.
Yeah.
And it was a great time. And then this lady, she comes up to me because the time I cut, you know, I stopped being out there. I stopped being in the streets. Because I'm like, I need a break. I need a break. So then this female friend of mine I've known for a long time, she walks, she's like, man, Hammy, where have you been? Like, I haven't seen you in a long time. I'm like, man, I took a break. And right there, you know, I hugged her, we're having that, you know, quick catch up. It didn't even go for like 2 minutes. My girl was sitting right there, like right there, right? And my girl just turned and she's like, because when I told my friend, I was like, hey man, I've just been chilling, you know. My girl just was like, yeah, he's been chilling with his girlfriend.
Dang.
And I'm like, well, you know, meet XYZ.
Now you have,
my girl now put on attitude. So the girl was like, man, you know, Hammy's my friend. I've known him for this long, you know. My girl was like, no, you're good. So she just started giving attitude. And the whole night just got sour because
misunderstanding.
My friend left. I'm trying to like, hey baby, you know, there's nothing going on. This is my friend. You heard her say She hasn't seen me in a minute. You know, we've been home, we've not been going out, or we've been going out of state.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh no, the way she hugged you, the way she was looking at you, and I'm like, oh my god.
But I would be like, did you see how I looked at her and how I hugged her? I don't reciprocate. You know what I mean? As long as I'm not reciprocating, it's business.
Then again, that's why I said women have their own way of seeing things that women cannot.
Yeah.
And I might be doing it with a clean and a genuine intention, but you know, the other person that, you know, I might be, you know, doing that with would not be looking at it in that perspective. So that's why women have their own. That's what women have their own ways that they look at things, and they have a very strong intuition. And I always tell most of my friends that maybe they're in a relationship or they're looking to get in a relationship that if you're with a woman and she tells you something, dive deep into it, because there is a core part of it that you're not seeing, that
you're not
she's
getting.
already seen coming, and it's really tough. But that's the first thing I put in front of, you know, from the table. I'm into entertainment. There'll be times I have to be outside, and there's times I have to, you know, MC this event. You know, I'm an extrovert, super extrovert, and you know, I'm just all about the vibe. So hey, don't say I didn't tell you. You're gonna find a lot of people know me. If you go to a place that I'm not there, you do something, it's gonna come back to me. It's gonna come back to me. So don't think that, you know, you're gonna go. I'm just telling you, and it's always kind of been a challenge, you know, navigating with that. But I would say along the line, it literally sometimes falls in place. In my whole experience, I haven't had, let me say, a girl from our culture, you know, from back home. But most of my other people I've dated have been, you know, African Americans or other, you know,
ethnicities and stuff.
And it's been tough. I'd say it's been tough. I don't know if it's, you know, me just always looking good and, you know,
always looking sharp.
You know, looking good is good business, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
I don't know. Like, I really don't know. But 2022, I decided to be mean, like really mean.
You just decided to.
Yeah. At the time, I got off a break. You know, I got off of a heartbreak, and I'm like, you know, I'm gonna go out. I'm just gonna be by myself. So whenever I go to be a spot, I don't, regardless, club, you know, or whatever, I'll be by myself, buy a bottle. I'm sitting there by myself, have my hookah. I don't care who is coming around. I don't care how beautiful you are. What are you, Beyonce? I don't care. I don't want you around.
You're chilling.
So people will come around me. They're like, I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah.
And I realized that being mean. It actually worked. Because, no, truly, it actually worked. Because the moment you're like, oh, how you doing? The next thing is like, oh, can I sit? And before you know it, one thing leads to another. And
boom.
tomorrow it becomes messy. So I realized that when you decide to, you know, be mean, I'm not saying all the time, it works really good to your favor. Or, you know, to me, you know, it worked really good to me. But I realized that it was very hard and challenging because that's not me. That was a facade.
You're like you're extroverted.
Something you were just trying.
You like to be enjoying,
I like to
enjoying
serve,
everything.
You know? If I go to a place, I make sure I'm getting the drinks for everybody. Hey man, sit down. Like, I'll get you a cup. Hey, I want everybody to enjoy. You know? But just me going and then I know I'm like, hello, hi,
just keeping it.
How you doing? I'm good. Hey, what you doing? Thank you. I don't want I don't want no attention. Hey, can I sit? No. Hey,
can I sit?
Cute. Thank you. Oh man, I like your shoes. Thank you.
It's just like
being mean, and it was hard, but I'm like, you know what? Right now, that's what it is.
What you needed,
that's what you needed. I was gonna say, have you ever had anybody press you like that? Like
no.
You know, like when going out, somebody hugged you funny, and they just look at you like I don't like the way she did it. As far as women's intuition,
like my girl saw something. Happens too often.
All the time.
Too often to the point now I'm like, I don't even want to bring my girl around no more because I am a social person too, and like the way I feel like I talk to people because I get really curious about people, so I ask a lot of questions. It can come off as like flirting or be misconstrued into like me having like alternative intentions, but I really don't. I mean, you know me long enough. I talk to everybody if I can, and that I don't discriminate male or female, black, white. It doesn't matter. Like whoever you are, like you might have a story that might add to my knowledge perspective of the world. So I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna ask questions. But yeah, like some of my partners has in the past in the past recently, like
All over, just in
all
general.
over it throughout my timeline has always told me like I'm too nice or I'm too flirty or whatever. And I can, and I understand what you were saying earlier with like how female can see how female can see like people's alternative intentions, or maybe they're just more observant at reading body language or demeanors or whatever. So I'm more cautious of that now when I do have my girl around, in a social setting. And it's not and beyond that, because guys, we know this how other guys move too.
Yeah.
So like if a guy's talking to my girl a certain way or something, like I'm like, yo, like
okay.
he's trying a little too hard. He's usually not that funny. He's usually not trying that hard. But yeah, man, like I think it's good to be like vigilant about things like that as you get older, because like now you're meeting people that are potentially life partners, potentially like very important people you want to keep around forever, and you don't want to step on the wrong toes.
Let me ask you a question. What month were you born in?
March.
I asked this because I've never been really big on
Astrology
and all that thing. But whenever I'm in a room and we're having a conversation, especially with females, I don't know, they are big on astrology.
Huge.
That's always
like,
don't make up your whole
Scorpio. They're like,
Scorpio.
Yeah.
So one of my friends was like, "Y'all are two-sided." I'm like, "What do you mean?" Because I was born in June.
Gemini.
Like, y'all two-sided. The next minute you're happy, next minute you're cold, and I'm like, what do you mean? And it makes me sometimes I have to sit back and think about myself.
Right.
And then you mentioned flirty, and I would say some of those things you don't even do them intentionally.
Right.
You being a natural extrovert or a natural, people's person, whether you like it or not, your smile might be interpreted different. Especially when you're a good-looking guy, you got your stuff going on. And I mean, even if you have your girl right there, it's made me literally, when I go out and ladies want to talk to me or they want to say hi, I'll give you a handshake. I wouldn't give you a hug.
Right.
Hello, how you
Straight
doing?
up handshake.
Every time I give you
Distance.
a handshake, the moment you're squeezing my arm, no. Because again, you don't know where that's going to lead. Even my female friends, whenever my ladies around, if I gotta hug them, it's a 1 second thing. Hello, like it's quick,
Right.
And I'm just like, hey, and then I've always be like, you know what? Let's talk later, or I get them on the table so they could definitely just
sit
be
there,
around my girl, and then my girl could get the vibe.
She then
She
understands from
what's going
them.
on.
Yeah.
Because I always encourage whoever I'm dating to know my female friends.
Yeah.
And to be friends with them, because from there, whatever thing I'm going through that they might be able to tell her or tell my female friends will have a better way to explain it to me in the friendly base and from a womanly perspective. That's gonna make me be able to understand or get the concept that my girlfriend might be trying to tell me, and I'm not able to understand. Because again, if I have a female friend, I bring you around my girlfriend. Mommy, you know what? This is my friend. You gotta be friends. Or if you don't want to be friends, or y'all gonna hang out. I don't care, because at the end of the day, there's something to learn. There's something to learn. Yeah.
That's fair. I like that. I was gonna say, just again, going back into the female intuition and like having their perspective. Just giving my own story was, I think I might have said this before, when we're having a house party. I was staying in Miami. It was me and my guys. It was my birthday. My girl came from out of town. I was dating this girl from Oklahoma. She came. We're all hanging out, everything. I kid you not. I'm walking by. It's in the house, right? It's at the crib. Chair here. I'm about to pass. One of my friends, she was getting by me. I don't know if she was getting by or if I wanted to go through. And she just kind of like patted me on the back. Like that kind of like move, let me get through.
Right.
When I tell you, I did not hear the rest of it for that night. My girl was like, we went to we literally had to go to the room and like talk, because she was like, why did she touch you like this? I don't like the way this, and this. I'm like, see, when did this even happen? Throughout the night. She's like, no, whenever you were like moving, she like touched your back and she like rubbed your back or something. And I was like, I couldn't even comprehend. So I just alluding to your point as far as like females do have that extra eye to say, to like catch certain things. But I think this would be a great time to just tap in for the last segment of the episode. We're going to go through, you might notice, well, you did notice that there's a card right there on your seat. I didn't even look at it. Ooh. Yeah, there's a card right there on your seat. It says Reflections. Lack is going to give us the breakdown for those who haven't been here before on what exactly these bold cards are.
Sounds good. Yeah. So this is a segment we've been doing the last few episodes. So these are bold cards. So they have three categories: perception, reflection, and connection. We've been mainly doing the reflection and perception ones. We starting to do the connections one too.
Yeah.
But because we're such good talkers, we don't want to.
Yeah.
If we do all three cards at once, it's gonna be another
here all
3
day.
hours here.
We'll be here
So
all day.
yeah, so but we don't see the cards beforehand. So so when Hammy reads the question, it's gonna be the first time.
First time
Fine, I will hear it
we
too.
hear it. So
Are we
it's
all
exactly
gonna
what it
respond
is.
to this,
Yep.
or I'm gonna have to do this by myself?
No, we all gonna respond.
We're all
Yep.
respond, but we'll start with you, and you read the question out loud, of course, and give us everything.
Okay. So the first question is,
Mm-hmm.
what are three experiences from your past that contributed to you becoming you? Three experiences. I would say from back home, when I was a dancer. I remember vividly growing up as a kid. I used to always dance. I used to love Michael Jackson a lot.
MJ.
And when I went to secondary school, which I believe it's called middle school over here,
Yeah.
in my school, I was the best dancer all around all year.
Hey.
So then I moved to university or to college where I did, I joined these dance groups, and it was a whole different experience. So just that opportunity to still exert my skill or my talent being a dancer is one thing that opened my doors to be able to stand in the crowd of people, because you got to be strong. Not everybody can stand in front of a crowd and talk to people. That's the
Right.
first. The second one was the event when my friend called me to be the MC of that a dance competition.
Oh, yeah.
Which apparently I was a veteran dancer, and that's how I actually unlocked my talent of being a passionate or a good MC. And from that show, I was like, okay, I could do this. And the third one was when I was invited to be a juror for getting Miss Catholic University in Boya, because being right there, you have the pressure from the audience and the contestants. You have to be very fair in how you are
Balanced, yeah.
expressing yourself and all that. So when I look at those three different circumstances, they gave me an opportunity to actually understand that I could stand in whatever stage, wherever amount of people, and be able to, speak, talk, or do whatever that concerns managing the crowd, or being able to get something done with respect to entertainment. Yeah, that was the first one.
Hey, that makes sense. I like that.
Do I read the third one, the second one? Or
Let's
you guys
go
gotta do it?
around and
Okay.
then
Yeah,
we'll
we'll
do
do
the
it.
second one. That way we
Yeah.
just kind of get all the perspectives aligned. So I'll go next, I guess. I will say, yeah, definitely one of my experiences that made me who I am today. That's essentially the question, right?
Yeah.
Is
three.
secondary school, boarding school. I went to a boarding school in Cameroon. I've said this before. We used to have boarding school, what's it
Vibe.
called? Topics and
Right.
everything coming and loading. So whenever we have the brother or the sister, everybody's here. We'll give you guys some of that. But that's I think the most character building experience I've probably been through my life entirely up to date. There's things that have come close, but that's number one, just because that's when you learn individuality. You're there, you're washing everything, you're washing your clothes by hand, you're managing the food that you have, you're managing the money that you have,
Right.
you're studying, you're living away from your family and everybody that you knew prior, literally there because you cannot, there's no, except for visiting day, like no one comes and sees you, you don't go
By
outside the
yourself.
school, like you're there the entire time. So that was definitely the most character building. So that's first. The second I would say was when we came back here and went to university here. So when we were uni, it was eye-opening, one, because I was very young, so I started at 15. So I think that sort of played a role. But because of the way I grew up in Cameroon, like coming here and then going to uni at 15, I saw just people that I was, or as far as like my classmates, I was just so much more mentally mature, I felt like. So having that experience, like understanding the differences in living here at that time period versus there, like that's another thing that just came to me as a character building moment, just because I think I really grew from like having, but then I was still open to everything and everyone around me. So I just sort of like was able to pick people's minds more, I feel like. And then the third would be most recently graduating med school. just because before the graduation came, I had my own. I mean, I've given this story probably a million times already, but like all that stuff that was happening the year prior, which was just like last year from October to whenever like I was finishing my second board, through some of the hardest schedules that I had from like surgery. At the same time, I was going through a breakup, and at the same time, I was trying to take this board and it wasn't working. Like nothing was working in life, and I just needed like some self-reflection. So did a lot of that coming into where I am today. Those things, yeah, definitely the 3 experiences that have been the greatest impact for me.
Yeah.
But I would say that. What would you say?
For me, yeah. So, and I just want to say, like, I like how that, like, for both of your experiences, it was the transitioning from
boarding school.
Yeah, boarding school. So, and I just from hearing some stories that from Doe and that's what I'm like, yeah, that's definitely character building. Having to fight for bread, you know.
Boarding school was fun. I'll tell you, it was fun.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Right. Yeah, for sure. For me, I would definitely say the first character building experience for me was definitely moving to America. Just because I wasn't even expecting to move here. Because like I remember 3rd grade, the last day of class, like before we went to summer, I was telling my classmate, "Yeah, I'll see you guys again next year. yeah, it'll just be 3 months. I'll see you guys again." And I never saw them again.
Wow.
Yeah, so moving here, feeling deracinated, like out of my elements. I think I just hadn't built up enough grit and character yet to view coming to America as an opportunity. I viewed it as a setback because, I mean, going from living carefree to having to pull out a piece of paper and pointing to it so the teacher know I'm wanting to go to the restroom because I can't communicate it. You know, things like that. I feel like I was taking L's every day. But but after that, you know, after climbing up, I feel like that's when I started, you know, feeling more confident about myself and my ability to do things. The second one was probably when I graduated college and walking across the stage and no one was there, like for me. And so like in that moment, after I got home, I just realized that like I was not happy. Like I got the degree. I was doing something that I originally thought was for me, but I was really doing it to make other people proud of me, to make other people
Parents,
look,
family.
like, you know, parents or even friends or people that looked up to me, or like people back, you know how it is. Like people back home were always sending you like encouragement, motivation, but like that is pressure. Like it's like you have to commit now, because like for a long time, I mean, they still do sometimes, but my family in Vietnam was just like, oh, like that's our doctor, our Dr. Lack, you know. So I felt like I had to follow through. I couldn't. I had to finish, but when I did finish, I was like, it wasn't for me. And more recently, I guess the third event, I don't know what you would call it an event, but honestly, starting this podcast, having like all of our discussions and going in depth into like why we are the way we are, and having, you know, speaking to like on so many different topics and whatnot, it made me realize that like I actually do want to go into something else as career wise, other than like, because you know, we're all from science backgrounds, you know, but now like you're doing your entrepreneurship stuff, but your entrepreneurship came from like wanting to dive deeper into a science background. And you know, for you, like you're a doctor now, but there's and that's your passion. There's like this other side of you that wants to
be creative.
Be creative. And I think for me, I just want to use this opportunity to grow my skill set, my like, because I feel like I have my talent in life is my ability to connect with people, and I want to nurture that now and take that as far as I can and use that to give back to society in some type of way, in some form, whether it's giving people a voice, whether pushing topics that I feel like is beneficial to society, whatever it may be. And I haven't figured that out yet, and that's why we're here. So until I get there, I'm just gonna keep trying. So those will be my 3 events.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
I like that though. I like that.
Amazing. That's amazing.
Especially for the last experience, like just using everything that you have, and I think your previous experiences to sort of get you to where you want to go. Yeah, a lot of molding going on, but okay, we're waiting for the end product,
Yeah.
man.
I'll tell you what. I mean, I believe that every single person, and like I always tell anybody I come across, we are all built with a talent, a skill that is unique. And you don't get to unlock it until you find yourself in that space.
Yeah.
In America, most people, like I said previously, they have jobs, they don't have careers. And a lot of people who work those jobs are not happy. It's for the paycheck. But if you realize those that are doing things that are passionate about or is their talent, it's so easy. Because you wake up in the morning, for example, if you got to be on the radio, you're doing it with a lot of ease.
Yeah, you're just
Man,
like
you're just
on the
doing your thing
radio.
before you know it. Boom, 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 you're good. Even if your boss trying to put some pressure on you, you're like, man, I'm not even dealing with that today. I mean, I'm in a good mood. I get it
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
But if you are not, for example, a good orator or you're not a good talker and you're trying because there's pressure on you, you're not going to be happy.
Yeah.
Or maybe because of the money. So I understand, but I'll tell you what, you got something in you.
Appreciate
Yeah,
it,
You
man.
got
man's got it.
something in you. You got.
Appreciate it.
You might not have figured it out, but I'm telling you, you're very close to it.
I appreciate
Because
that a lot.
just the fact that you are here
Yeah.
on this podcast, it takes a lot. It takes a lot.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it takes a
Like
lot.
that.
You
Appreciate it,
are
man.
Like
going
that one.
somewhere.
Appreciate
And once
that.
you get it, you're going to be like, man, you remember those days we used to be on
We're
that
talking,
podcast?
yeah, we're just talking about.
And I'm telling
Trying
you,
to figure
you're
it
going to be
out.
bigger than what you're thinking. Yeah, you got something. So
Appreciate it, man. I appreciate
one
that
other
a lot.
last thing I'll add to it is, I don't know how much you pray, but I'm very spiritual. My life in America is a testimony. Look up to God all the time, man. It's God.
Yeah.
You might be spiritual, you might not be spiritual, but I'd say believe there is an ultimate, you know, God. There is somebody
Some power.
who made this day work,
Yeah.
because life is full of two things. There's the celestial part of it and there's the physical. Right now we are here. We all connect because of the energy, the mystery part of it that we don't understand.
Yeah.
You will see people be like, I don't like that guy. Not because
Yeah,
not
facts.
because they've ever
That's
met,
true.
but because
Met you or
their
done
spirits
anything.
do not connect. That's a spiritual aspect about it. But when your spirits connect, which we don't know, we don't see, is because there is a higher power, right? There you see things just keep going, like, they just keep aligning.
Right.
And that's why I'll tell you again, I don't know how spiritual you are, but if you are, believe it or not, that man makes,
Yeah.
there's some miracles
Makes it
that be done
happen.
every day. You
Yeah.
know, you wake up in the morning, it's a miracle. Yeah.
No, I mean it's hard. It's hard not to be. It's hard for me not to be spiritual because like I feel like I've gotten so lucky in life in every avenue. I think we talked about it before. There's nothing in life now that I can't obtain or like obtain a version of it that I wouldn't be happy with.
Yeah,
Whether
okay.
it's like, and the people I have in my life now are so solid like that. Like for a long time, my focus was on like, I just want good friends around me. I just want good people around me, people I can count on. And now that's for sure, like I can focus on things that are, I'm not distracted by bad friendship or bad relationships. I'm able to use the good friendships I have to help
Secure.
nurture what I'm already, like you guys, because all my friends help me out so much
Yeah.
with, with advice or whatever it may be. Anytime I ask for help with anything, like y'all are always there. So it's hard not to be spiritual because I just feel like sometimes I feel like I'm the luckiest person in the world. Like coming from like
feeling.
I think we should come back some other time, talk about spirituality.
yeah,
I
yeah,
feel
no,
the good
for
energy
sure.
in this
I
room,
like
for
it.
real.
I like
Yeah.
it. I like it. And for the last question, yes.
The last question, if you could relive one experience, which would it be?
One of the ones we talked about.
I don't know. I guess
Wait,
that's what it's saying.
one more time.
If you could relive one experience,
Yeah.
which would it be?
Okay, I guess we'll just say in general, because the ones we talked about were three most important.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would need all of them.
I would say it's gonna go back to one of my three experiences I did. And thinking about it right now, I don't know if I should say the fact that I was a dancer, because that opened a lot of doors for me.
Yeah.
And when you go to boarding school back home, whether you like it or not, there is, when your name comes in the magazine at the end of the year, you're like a celebrity.
Yeah,
You are like
a celebrity.
If
And
you,
like
if
to
you,
everyone
if,
around
Not like
you're a
you are,
celebrity.
yeah.
Yeah.
if you are the best, best calligrapher, the best
Yeah.
painter, you have
Yeah.
the best handwriting, you have,
Yeah.
or you're always, top of the class,
Top
you
of
always
the
have
class,
A
smart,
grade,
or you're
like,
always sharp and clean.
always looking
and-
sharp and clean, or your bed is always made up.
Yeah.
Guess what? You might be in Oklahoma, but the whole of Texas knows you because that magazine
guy.
goes to Texas. Everyone's like,
Yeah.
"Who is that guy? Who is that guy?" So, I would say is my experience being a dancer, and nurturing that from boarding school or secondary school all the way through university. Just like with the Olympics that just got done, I realized that they actually had a
Yeah, they
breakdance
had the breakdance
category.
thing.
So I'm like, man, I wish it was back in the days because
That's funny.
hey, we did some really good stuff back then. Like, because I just did not dance only one kind of dance. I danced multiple different kind of dance, like from coupé de calais to break dance to crump to salsa, name it. I did everything.
Right.
I did everything. So I would say it's one of those things that thinking about that today, I would
go
want to
back.
relive that because dancing is therapeutic. Like
Yeah.
you just free.
Just
like
letting off
it's
just
like
letting-
those who like reading books. When they read their books, they're like, oh wow, But
Mm-hmm.
that's how I feel when I dance. And today I feel sometimes bad that I'm no longer so much into watching or knowing which the latest dance. And I'm like, wow, but everything gets old.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Damn, I like that one though. Going back to dance, I'm sure it's just because at that time you were young too, so you
Yeah.
could just
Yeah.
everything was flowing. That's a nice one. If I could relive,
The days in school.
I don't know
being in
those
Chicago.
boarding school days. Yeah, I don't know about those boarding school days. Maybe Chicago. I want to say Chicago, but honestly, it's not going to be. I don't think it'll be any time from since I started med school. Just not because I haven't enjoyed it, or it's not because I haven't. That's not what's getting me towards my goal.
Yeah.
Is because I think the days before I got into med school, like I could really take it in. Like I
Yeah.
could just the days were going by slower.
Yeah.
I didn't have all the responsibility. I was more free. Maybe the days of uni when I was here, days of university, because again I was still making progress towards my end goal.
Right.
But I don't know if it just wasn't as hard. That's when I was able to like go on like first dates and date the first person that I met, and I had time to like enjoy the video games, and I was playing soccer at the time.
exploring.
Like I was playing football, I was
Yeah.
exploring everything. So that was my time. It was outside of the boarding school life, which I also felt encaged, which still added to my character building, but I didn't feel as free. So I think I was most free in the days of university here, which was something I would relive. Yeah.
Right.
That's good. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would you say?
Mm.
Which are the
I
moments?
feel like he's actually thinking.
Yeah, I'm always trying to think. Yeah. Honestly, I would try. If I could relive, I would try to relive a few years before I moved to America.
I
Just
saw that coming.
Yeah,
You know what I
right.
do? Because when you were about to leave, you said third grade, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
You're like, oh, I'm gonna see you next. In
Yeah.
your mind, you're like, okay, I'm back. I'm here.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody.
Yeah.
Like, and then you had to come in. I saw that coming. Like,
Right.
You want to go
Honestly,
back, right?
any
Go back.
any year, before I moved to America, just so like I feel like as a kid you live life fast. You're not slowing down to
Yeah.
enjoy anything. You're just waiting for the next thing, waiting for the next toy, whatever. But if I could I would relive any year I've had that I could remember before moving to America, just so I can slow down, enjoy the company I had, enjoy my like the time I had with my family, and this, like that's. Speaking like that as an adult, like as a kid, you're not thinking about any of that. Like you're just thinking about your friends running around the neighborhood. But now, like I'm not as close to my family physically, I miss those times a lot. Just how we, sometimes like we all just
hang out,
hang out and chill. And like my friends in the neighborhood, like I haven't seen them, forever. So yeah, man.
Okay,
Keep it simple for that.
That's amazing. That's super
Appreciate it.
amazing. Yeah.
I like that. That being said, I think that is a perfect place to wrap it. Hammy, real quick, what was your feedback just for the cards for now, and then just tell us your experience.
For the cards, I think this is really amazing because honestly, I could have looked at it, but I didn't see it coming. And the questions are really cool. Like
questions
are
good.
they're super. That's super cool because they're not making you overthink, but
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
falls in line and it just flows.
Yeah,
And I
definitely.
think this it's a great mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah, both
Helps you
for sure.
reminisce.
Remember, yeah,
Yep.
especially the reflections.
It
I
makes
like
me.
that
I'm
one.
gonna go back home and think about it.
Yeah,
Wow,
man, think about his dancing
Yeah.
days.
Right.
Yeah.
But speaking of the dancing days, Hammy Gabanny, none other than the man. It's been such a pleasure having you. Is there anything you want to share with the people? What's coming next for you? Any social media they can find you on? Like, just what's happening with Hammy Gabanny after this?
So after this, right now I'm trying to rebrand a lot more.
Okay.
Because like I said, I was outside a lot. And
Yeah.
one thing I realized is there would always be room for enjoyment. When I say enjoyment, the parties I was gonna be, the nightclubs I was gonna be, I want to do things differently and not being so much into the enjoyment part of it, because in as much as it was work, but after work, okay, let's say we're doing an event, we have a bunch of people coming in. After everybody's in, guess what? I'm in the back having a drink, having a good time, you
Yeah.
know. But I wanna I've resorted to take a step back where if it's work, it's work. I want to treat it as work, such that if I'm doing something, I don't have to be involved with anything that's gonna kick me out of the lane in which I'm supposed to be. I'm trying to invest more on like being more as a sponsor to events now and not being as into the event. So back then, I would say if there's an event, I'll be part of it, like everything. But now I want to be like, you know what? If you guys have an event or you guys have a possible event you guys want to do, let me know what's the budget. Let's talk about the business plan of it.
Yeah.
And then I could assign the budget and allow you guys go do it. All I'm hoping for at the end of it, bring back my money. Let's talk about it.
That's it.
And the
like
next
that.
another big thing that I'm thinking also is trying to get more involved with different talking spaces, because I realized that I like to talk. I like to educate, orient, and as well be involved when it comes to having very, very great conversations that leads to growth. So at the time, I never thought maybe going to a talking space was going to make sense. But now I've been looking into public speaking.
Okay.
And I believe that once I have a chance to understand the dynamics about it, I would dive deep into it. I learned there's a lot of people who make good money from just public speaking. They walk in
Fair.
there. You could be a motivational speaker, or you could be, somebody who's in charge of a company or whatnot. So it's just some of the few things that I'm actually looking into right now.
Getting in.
That said, like I wouldn't be outside like that, but I'm still gonna be able to make some money. And one last thing that I'm also considering is being involved with the community a lot more.
That's nice.
I would love to come up with community initiatives that is gonna help create awareness and as well educate folks about some certain perceptions, because now people know about Africa. A lot of people know about Africa right now, but
Yeah.
they don't understand the mindset about people live in Africa for less than $100 monthly, and people believe that Africa is hot. So there's some different perspectives and perceptions that I'm looking at educating people about it, especially when it comes to finance and investments. America is amazing, believe it or not, it's amazing. However, there is a chance to invest in different places and also be able to have a second source of income or extra side hustle. So
Yeah.
I'm looking to get into the community with that and see how we could push forward with it. One other thing that just came to mind, which I've been thinking about it, is I realized there's a lot of vets who are homeless. And talking about being involved with the community, you would realize that how can we help these people, get them homes? How
Yeah.
can we do things different than what maybe is out there? So I'm working on a project right now, which hopefully, thank God and God willing, it comes to fruition as per the time frame. But that's something which it's in the pipeline. That's I think one of the major things that
Yeah.
I'm working on.
Oh wow, nice. Man's got
Yeah.
initiatives. Out the wazoo. No, I like that for sure. Just for the ads, where can they find you? Instagram,
on Instagram,
social media, LinkedIn, whatever.
Some time ago, I actually left social media. Funny
Okay.
enough, because I had a friend of mine who told me, "Hey, man, I was talking to somebody and they just pull up your Instagram like, this is Hammy, this is Hammy." And for a minute, it was overwhelming because I'm like, why would somebody pull up? I'm like, hey, this is Hammy. So
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what, I
Okay.
need to take a step back. Also, I wanted to take a step away from social media because I realized that I was so much prone to it, and there was a lot of time I was dedicating to social media that was not bringing back to me. Like I wake up in the morning, I would be on Instagram for maybe 45
Instagram,
minutes,
TikTok.
and I end up going to work late. It doesn't make
Yeah.
sense. You get on TikTok. Those things, they are good, but how can we use it that makes it really
Like
coming forward? But
beneficial.
however, I'm back on social media, so.
Fair.
My
fair. For the
Facebook,
business,
it's
yeah.
Hammy Gabanny. On Instagram, it's Hammy Gabanny. Or my business page is Gabbany Enterprise.
Okay.
On Twitter, it's still Hammy Gabanny. Pretty much TikTok as well, Hammy Gabanny. I
Fair.
don't really use TikTok, but hey,
Yeah, it is.
let's
Name is
look up.
unique enough to where no one else gonna have it. So
just aligns with everything.
Yeah.
I like that. Toast, anything else to add?
nah, man, I feel like this has been a very fun episode, and I appreciate you coming on the pod and
Yes,
giving
yes,
your time
yes.
and your, like I feel like it was. You're going to be a very good mentor to a lot of people, and I hope that
Appreciate it.
when you take it to the next level, being that the motivational speaker that you want to be, or just bring positivity to the community, or doing more goods in the community in general, I wish you success.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Success indeed. That being said, lovely place to wrap the episode. Thank you guys for watching. Once again, please subscribe to the YouTube, like the video, notification bell on all the platforms so you know the boys are on. Yes, sir. 5 stars on the Apple Podcast, 5 stars on the Spotify. You're going to have the polls. Answer the polls. We want to get you guys' insight, right? Hammy just gave you guys so much information. I don't know how you cannot leave a comment on this episode. So I want to see something in the comment. Put it in the comments what kind of car you want to drive. Want to know what kind of car you drive, what car do you want to drive, because this guy can get it for you. As he just said, he can get it for you at the right price. We don't know whether that right price will be high or low, but it's going to be right. So that being said, thanks again, Hammy Gabanny. It was lovely having you here. And to the people, we'll see you guys next time. Take it easy.
Peace.
Peace.